we will be looking at the for loop. This is another variation of loops. We will be using the same example of the students and their scores. So let me start by writing a console.write line to say what this program is all about. Week 5 exercise 4 for loop. Okay, so we have seen the while loop and the do while loop. The idea of a loop is to repeat a set of instructions without having to code it multiple times. It is about efficiency. So let me just set up the basic infrastructure, all of our variables. We want to find the sum average. We want to get the scores. So some of the lines that will be repeating are console.readline. That is my score. Then I have to do a conversion. Then I have to add sum equal to sum plus score. So this can also be written as sum plus equal to score. So that is a combination of the operator. So they both mean the same. Sum equal to sum plus score is the same as sum plus equal to score. Whichever way you're comfortable with, you can use that. So these lines have to be repeated multiple times, right? With the while loop, we said, what is the exit condition? We used either a counter or a sentinel to decide when the loop gets, when we exit out of the loop. A for loop has this format. So it says for starting value, ending value, increment value. Okay, so that is the format of the for loop. So there are three things. What is the counter? So a for loop uses a counter. What is the counter? And what is the beginning value of the counter? So this is the counter's beginning value. This is the ending value. And then here is where you are incrementing the counter. So when you say counter plus plus, it's the same as counter equal to counter plus 1. Okay. So counter plus plus means is the same as counter equal to counter plus 1. This is what we did in the while loop. When we did the while loop example, we said counter equal to counter plus 1 within the loop. So the provision is provided for you in the for loop by these three parameters. So the first parameter is the starting value, the name of the variable and its initial value. This is the exit criteria. It will check every time is counter less than 5. As long as it's less than 5, it will execute. And then here is where every time these statements are executed at the end, what should happen to the counter? The counter gets incremented. Okay. So and then we write the result. So the for loop is my favorite because there is no option for you to forget your counter. With a while loop, that's what happens. People forget to increment the counter. With the for loop, you can write a statement like that without incrementing the counter because that is just not the format of the for loop. So that helps you really to make sure that you are considering the three parameters. It is all defined up front. Before you start writing anything else, you think about all those three. What is the entry criteria? What is the exit criteria? How are we changing the counter? All three are laid out right there, so life becomes easier. So let's run this program. You've seen this many times. So this is the situation where we are using a counter to run this program and get inputs 5 times. Okay, score 1, score 2, score 3, score 4, score 5. There you go. So the average is 225, the scores are 45. I'm just like quickly showing you um, how that works. You can try it out with different values, and even like decimal values, we have defined them as double, so they all should work. So the for loop is really quick, concise, it's really easy. So the counter only doesn't have to go up, you can also go down. If you want to, like for example, start with a bigger number and keep going down, you could say counter is 5, counter less than counter greater than 1, counter minus minus. You could go that way also. It'll still be, it's just a counter. You start from 5. So this is like the countdown. You start from 5 and then you keep going down, as opposed to you start from 0 and count up. So you can do either. It's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, you can do that way. So it is a very simple, easy way. I like for loops because they are upfront. We think about all the things that are happening, all the different aspects of the counter variable. We initialize it to a 0, that's your entry point. You check for the exit criteria, which is counter less than 5, and then you decide what do you want to do to the counter, increment, decrement, or leave it alone, what is going to happen. Without this counter, this will keep executing indefinitely. Without this value here, this loop will continue executing indefinitely. Okay, so beware of the infinite loops. I will push this code into GitHub and you can access it as week 5 exercise 4. Thank you.